This is Justin Amazon on Wednesday, August 15th, 2018. And today's pre-market looks a little bit like yesterday's pre-market. So let me explain. Yesterday was basically sideways and came into the open, looked like it was going to be right at some support, and the I guess the candle right before pre-market got into the resistance here. I'm just seeing kind of similar, like not exactly sideways, but a bit of a double bottom, at least kind of this range, 1905 to 1913, something like that, where you have some resistance here and some support either here or here. And so the very first candle of the day moved from, this resistance, so I guess I'm a little low, down into a support, just like this, was in a support here. And we, crushed through that yesterday. But today we actually held that value and just adds to kind of the sideways action here. But the issue is what I was looking at is like a 1913 by like 1904 range. If you had gotten in when that breaks out, that's only, it's a little more than a 1-to-1. But, just like, I guess maybe it wasn't yesterday, probably a couple of days ago, you could have bought at this support and traded it up to here or traded up to here or something. Whereas yesterday, had you shorted at, the high, so if you got into puts at the open near the high of, of this resistance, it would have just kept going. Today, if you bought calls down at the support, it could have kept going. At least a little bit. Next candle is a nice bouncing candle looking like the 1905 price is going to hold. Comes into about 1915 and then comes back down right into this resistance level about 1913. Then the very next candle, it sells back down. Actually, it makes a little bit of a higher high and then comes back down quite a bit and then starts actually breaking down. And so we'll look at the options, but there was an opportunity to buy at this level, buy calls at this level, and flip them out at this level. It would have been actually a really decent gain to do that. Just like yesterday, had somebody bought puts at this level, right around the support, and gotten out. In this case, I guess getting out here would have been tough because it would have moved so quickly, but getting out, a few R up would have really worked well. Excuse me, would have worked really well. Today, though, we're looking like we're bouncing and then we're collapsing. And so we're taking out this low. It'd be great if we get a retest of that value, the 1905 price. We do get a little bit there. Comes right back into 1905.67. So it does actually get into that same range and has a really large indecision candle. And then makes a lower low again on the 5-minute and then another one, and then makes inside it's just continuing lower, like very quickly getting sold down, even more aggressively than the sell-off we had from here. What's really interesting is pre-market, we actually made a new all-time high, obviously not during market hours. So I still like having the line here at the 1925 price. And then people looking to, get in bullish, we're trying to buy this up, trying to buy it up, and just continue to collapse. The gap down actually, this triangle that we're forming here is actually what we gapped down from, retested into, kind of a breakdown of this range here, right here, trapping everybody who's buying, and then sold off. And now that we've taken out the low from yesterday's, that was like the last chance it had to really bounce anywhere was here. Now that's been taken out. Now we're taking out the lows the last 2 days. The last 2 days we're really, just sideways, waiting for, some momentum, or waiting for, some momentum to build. And it's clear that that momentum is breaking to the downside. And then we just continue down. Our next line is at 1880, and we come right into that, screaming into that price, and actually continue on through it. continue on through that price, overshooting 1880. And after this many bearish candles, this much of a move, that's, what is that, $45, 45 bucks. That's over 2% of a move here. I would be, I would not be going bearish right here. Obviously, the place to go bearish was up here, or any of these breakdowns of these bullish candles, or at least positive candles. And this one, even very small candle, could have made an R just down to 1880 price. But not down here. We're so far down that I would actually look for a retracement up to 1880 and then some. I don't know if we come back up to 1900. Maybe we come back up, retest some of these lows here, 1895. We'd have to look back a few more days to see what other prices it came into it in this range. But look for another triangle. Like we've seen the last 2 days, we've seen these triangles at some point of the day. Look for another triangle somewhere in here. If we don't get up this high, then set it here, one of these positive candles, and see if we can triangle in here and just kind of go sideways a little bit, trapping some people either direction. So here's a bounce, recovery, pull back right into 1880 again. A nice candle right on 1880 price. You could actually trade this candle alone. Excuse me. Bearish here with the breakdown, close below, or bullish with a close above here, or if you're just aggressively buying at the 1880 price, depending where you have your stop, it could work. So somebody buying here with a stop down here, hopefully wasn't stopped out with this wick, and then maybe made a little bit of gain if they got out up here, or here's another opportunity to get in. And then it starts to bounce and climb up, gets into the 1895 price and almost into the 1900. And so now if we've got this as a pivot, it is really, really close to these lower wicks. So there's definitely a pivot range in here, a support range that's now been retested as a resistance range. And so you may not have known to short right here, to go bearish right here, but we'll look for an opportunity to get in on a retest up to that level, and then right here, this looks like an evening star reversal. We had this very strong sell-off here. We've recovered around maybe a little bit more than halfway. Maybe that's a fib range. I'm not sure. I didn't measure this. So we're going to look for this to roll back down. Comes right back down to 1800 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25 minutes. 5 bearish candles, moving right back down here. But again, this is a good place to look to buy. We broke through it. We could go lower, but if we hold, or if you set up an aggressive trade to buy at 1880 and a stop down around 1875, something like that, we'll show the options to what have happened. So we rally again. Now, this being a higher low than this, or even this, on the angle, I like having this sort of an angle, and it sort of matches where this just made a high. So what I'd really like to do, let's see, the highs here are 17 cents away from each other, very close to being a tweezer top here, below a previous high, or a relative high, intraday high, not that one obviously, but you can see just there's a little bit of slowing down of this sort of move, just like we had the other day. Slowing down, recovering some, selling back down, just a smaller move, So this could easily be another evening star reversal starting to break down. But what happens is it actually goes sideways a little bit, throws in a lower wick, and then bounces here. And this would have been a great place to, just have an order sitting open, looking for some sort of entry bearish, and taking that back down to 1880. And could have been triggered in on that candle with a stop right here. It would have been very aggressive, but similar to trading this bullish from here, the stop here, this was a second entry. This was definitely a second entry if you didn't know or didn't have something set up for this one. this goes down right away, sideways, and then actually just kind of drifts lower, bouncing again, looking like it's bouncing again off the 1880 price, just sideways here. And this would have been where you want to be tightening up that stop if you're still in this one, or just using 1880 as a target and getting out, being done. But then again, it looks like there's another breakout, retest, a couple of very nice small candles to trade against, the entry above, a stop below the candles, or a stop below 1880, something like that. And 1 hour would have only been back up to pretty much the neckline up here or something like that. So it would have been a pretty quick scalp to do something like that, and it wouldn't have worked too well because you would have had to get out up here and then, or just tighten up your stop and gotten out for maybe a little bit of a profit, depending on where you actually got out of here. But this, being a little more sideways today, looks like lower highs, looks like higher lows. Now counting back to this one, because these were all relative lows right around the 1880 price. And so it could be lower highs and flat bottom, or lower highs and a rising bottom. So we'll jump over to the options. The calls here, we'll look at the first 5 minutes to see what you could have been doing based on the pre-market price of the stock. And the calls could have been buying very aggressively at that low, probably maybe 650 by 550. Had you gone 7 by 6, would have been stopped out. And it's just a matter of how the option was moving. But had you gotten in even 650 by 550, you could have flipped that out for a few R really quickly. From 650 up to 950, that'd be 3R with $100 risk. And then this thing just fell, and a nice consolidation here, broke out, retested, and so you could have been getting in, again, you're working with $100 R, could have been getting in for 450 with a stop down at 350, something like that, getting into the lower end of this range, and then that would have gone up, and we've been able to flip it out for a few R. The rest of the day, the options just kind of melted away. I think the size of the move didn't help that, but also we're looking at a 1925 call. And so that's even further out of the money than it had been just yesterday, where we were really making all-time highs or stone's throw from doing that. If we look over at the puts, so the puts rallied really, really quickly. It would have been great to had gotten into a position with the calls the first 5 minutes, flipped it out and reversed, and gotten in, down here at like 350 or 4 with a stop at 3, and see how that, or maybe 3. Yeah, 3 could would have been tight. 4 by 3 would have been really tight, but that would have been a massive, massive gain. Obviously, what I said about it, the target being 1880, you probably would have been taking something or all around 17 bucks here. So if you went from 4 to 17, that's 13R on that kind of move, and there were more to do it with too. I particularly like this one in here where we went sideways. We basically double bottom the option, and if we look back at the stock, this is the double top right here, and it gave you just a really good pattern recognition. Lower highs, higher lows. This could do this. It doesn't have to just drop. So this would have given you a second entry here, getting in for, let's see, maybe 9 by 8 possibly would have worked here. And then this would have just worked right up into the previous high, a little bit under 16. You would have just trailed your stop as things went, and probably would have stopped out here unless you get up to this point and you had a target that close to 16 and gotten out on it. So it would have been just a phenomenal way to trade this, double bottom the options and double top on the stock with a play right back down into 1880, which has been a value that we've been interacting with, once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 6, more or less interacting with that price. Excuse me. But I like what these lines are. We got this all-time high here. We got this support here. It's entirely possible this could chop around a little bit longer. Trading in this range and just go sideways. If you look back at the daily, we still have that bullish momentum. We're 5 candles in with increasing momentum, even though we pulled down by this much. So it'll be really interesting to see, we didn't quite get down to the 1863 price, but it could be next. Or we could come all the way back down to the 21 and retest some of these values and then see what happens. But, it's just really interesting to see how this has moved. I'm sure we trapped some people buying yesterday with the lower wick. There were people buying, gapping slightly down, inside the candle, but just slightly down enough that a bunch of people were trapped or were ready to get out. And, so this could lead into a couple more days of some selling, and it does depend on what the rest of the market's doing. Or this could be it. 1880 could be its new, favorite number, and it could just continue to go sideways there or bounce there. So, let's see. Looking at 5 minute, looking at puts, looking at calls, looking at puts. I think that's all I want to go over. So hope you're tracking this well and making some plans for what will happen tomorrow. If we do consider that, gap up could just fade because of the bearishness. But we're really in a really nice triangle. And I always like to see those break out, retest, and then get in on the retest. So some small candles on what looks like a retest could be a great opportunity to limit your risk and just set up a great trade. So I hope you enjoyed the video. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.